Barrow has given a victory speech and appealed for unity following his re-election in the just concluded presidential election. International observers have praised the conduct of the Gambia's recent presidential election, which saw President Barrow return to office. Gambia participates in a youth-led civil society organization that focuses on enhancing transparency and accountability in the public sector, has told the media that the 2021 presidential election witnessed a free, fair and transparent process. Following the Independent Electoral Commission, the IEC's official declaration of the result of the December 4th presidential election, the Citizens Alliance, CA, and the National Unity Party have signed statements congratulating His Excellency President Adama Barrow on his successful re-election. The moral guarantors of the Code of Conduct for the presidential candidates have congratulated all the stakeholders in the December 4th presidential election.
Having received 4,457,519 votes in election, I hereby declare Adama Barrow duly elected to serve as President of the Republic of Gambia.
Fellow Gambians, residents and friends of the Gambia, I address you today with a great sense of joy and humility. Now that the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, has declared me, Adama Barrow, candidate for the National People's Party, NPP, the winner of the 4th December 2021 presidential election. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who in one way or the other contributed to the successful conclusion of the elections. The Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, for delivering on their promise of a free, fair and transparent election. Our development partners, both bilateral and multilateral, for standing by us during this crucial period of our transition. Local and international observers, as well as the media, for the important roles they play in ensuring transparency in the process. I urge all my supporters to celebrate the victory in a civil manner, bearing in mind that those who opted to support other candidates are equally Gambians, and their right to do so must always be respected. I call on all Gambians, irrespective of our political divide, to put aside our political and other differences and come together as one people to work towards the development of our country. I thank you. Oh, my God bless you. Forward ever, backward never.
The Gambia's recent presidential election attracted a host of election observers from within and outside the country, as the first election since the previous election, which ended 22 years of authoritarian rule. There has been local and international interest to ensure a free and fair democratic election process. The European Union Election Observation Mission and the African Union are among those that send observation teams. The European Union observers report that they visited 128 polling stations in rural and urban areas in all the 7 administrative regions. According to the European Union Observation Mission preliminary findings, the election day was peaceful and polling officials carried out their duties professionally. The European Union noted gaps in the voting and counting, which it said need to be addressed. Here is Nobad Neuser, the chief observer of the European Union Election Observation Mission.
The campaign, freedoms were largely respected, and campaigning was issue-based, also highly personalized. Social media was employed widely.
Generally, the African Union and other international observers commented on the peaceful and professionalism throughout the election process. Musa Faki Muhammad, chairperson of the African Union Election Observation Mission, explained some of their recommendations.
Efforts to be made to pass the electoral bill and continue constitutional reforms. 2, the government should enact laws that provide for public funding and enforce regulations governing private funding of political parties. 3, political parties are encouraged to take more deliberate steps to adopt affirmative action measures aimed at increasing the participation of women, youth, and people living with disabilities in decision-making structures. 4, introduce legal requirements such as mandatory quotas to enhance women and youth political participation.
Sierra Leone's former president, Ednas Bai Koroma, mentioned that the main method of campaigning was through street rallies based on an agreed schedule among the political parties and candidates. He said the mission was pleased to note the security protection for all the presidential candidates during the election process.
The mission congratulates the IEC, the security forces, and all the stakeholders involved in the management of the electoral process, and salutes the great political maturity that Gambians have displayed throughout this process.
Former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo says he visited the election situation room and the information center operated by Elections Watch, and he said there was a general level of confidence in the electoral process.
The marble voting system has once again allowed all Gambians to vote, who voted, to do so in a transparent and efficient manner. While we note that there are different views on the value of this system, we urge further dialogue to ensure that all Gambians are able to reflect thoroughly on this.
The international observers, Election Watch and partners congratulated President-elect Adama Barrow and thanked Gambians for the discipline and peace they maintained throughout the election process. And they hope their work will continue to strengthen democracy, good governance, and the rule of law in the Gambia. For QTV News, I am Zainab Haidara.
The civil society organization collected data before and during the elections and served as domestic observers during the voting. At a press conference in a local hotel in Kololi, Gambia participates informed the press that they deployed 453 volunteers across the country to observe the election process. Mar Nyang is the executive director of the organization and told us what they found out during the election process.
In the vast majority of polling stations observed, persons with disabilities at 94%, the elderly at 98%, pregnant women, nursing mothers at 99%, and sick persons at 96% were given priority to vote before others. In 98% of polling stations observed, the voting compartment was set up in a manner that allows voters to mark their ballots in secret. In 96% of polling stations observed, the ballot drums were well placed so that the voters could easily see the color, photos, and writing on the ballot drums. In 76%, PDOI's party representatives were given a copy of the official results form, and in 97% of the polling stations observed, UDP agents were given a copy of the official results respectively. At 98% of polling stations observed, the official results for the presidential election was posted in a visible place for the public to see.
Mr. Nyang and his organization have some recommendations for the IEC, especially relating to legislative elections.
The IEC should reopen voter registration to allow citizens who have come of age to participate in the legislative elections. In the spirit of electoral transparency, the IEC should also ensure timeline release of polling station release to observer groups and other stakeholders to enable early planning. Parliament must prioritize legislation to have all elections conducted within the same period in order to reduce the cost of elections.
John Charles Njai, chairperson of Tango, said Gambians should be proud of themselves because we have proved to the world that we are a peace-loving nation.
I think we could pause as a nation and applaud ourselves for peacefully going through our electoral process. I'm sure a lot of us were apprehensive, a lot in the international community were concerned, but we have gone through and we have shown that Gambia is indeed the smiling coast of Africa. If we can do this, we can export this peace to the rest of Africa and to the rest of the world.
Salou Tal, president of the Gambia Bar Association, said the election is yet another milestone in our country's democratic process since the ousting of a dictator.
We peacefully went through an election, the first election after the removal of a dictator, and we did so, I believe, very well, and all Gambians, partners, contributed immensely. The fact that we can sit here and have this press conference says something. If you guys recall the last elections, I mean, people could not really go out, and we had the army and the military. But the atmosphere this year is very, very different. And I think that is credit to every Gambian, to the government, to civil society, and our international community, all of whom have really contributed immensely to help consolidate our democracy and maintain peace.
Gambia Participates creates a lot of platforms in which citizens are sensitized about their rights towards the government and are given the chance to raise their concerns as well. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
I am the light goddess. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q-Power. I am Q-Cell. I am Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any Q-Money agent across the country to receive your payment for free or use the money immediately to buy credit, Q-Power and other Q-Money services. It's fast, safe and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. Q-Money, Sunu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
The Citizens Alliance CA also congratulated all Gambians, particularly the women, the differently abled, old and young people, for coming out in numbers to vote. CA wishes to assure the head of state and the Gambian people of its commitment to the new chapter of our beloved country and the consolidation of our nascent democracy. The Citizens Alliance calls on Gambians to accept the results following confirmation of a free, fair and transparent election by both domestic and international election observers. The CA commends other presidential candidates for participating fairly in this very important electoral process and for conducting peaceful campaigns. Also, the leader of the National Unity Party, Abdoulaye Jammeh, has said that on December 4, 2021, Gambians headed to the polls and elected a president who will lead the affairs of our nation for the next 5 years. On behalf of the National Unity Party, he congratulated President Barrow on his re-election, wishing him the very best of luck in steering the affairs of the country. The NUP leader also commended his fellow contestants for their efforts to offer an alternative to the Gambian people and commiserated with them for not being successful this time around. Jammeh concluded that the 2021 presidential election is now over and the NUP will extend a lending hand to the government in ensuring we achieve our aspirations as a nation. Others who also commented on the election included His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, former president of Sierra Leone, who observed the close of polls and the counting process. Koroma said the process is straightforward, transparent and inclusive, with party agents fully participating in the full view of local and international observers. Madi Jobate, a human rights activist, said the December 4th presidential election is the most free and fair since independence. He added that the space was open and safe for the opposition and there was no intimidation of voters. The media was free, courts were free, and there was no fear of reprisals. Omar Sise, the GDC National Assembly member, said despite their political differences, he wishes to congratulate President-elect Barrow and all the other candidates. Babakar Sise, QTV News. Code of Conduct are the chairman of the Christian Council, Bishop James Allen Yao Odiko, the president of the Supreme Islamic Council, Sheikh Esa Dabo, Elizabeth Rena, former Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Usman Yabo, and His Excellency Mohammed Ibn Chambers of the National Elections Response Group. While congratulating all the presidential candidates and voters for going about their civic duties and exercising their right on 4 December 2021 in a peaceful and orderly manner, they commend the Independent Electoral Commission and the political parties for their role in delivering relatively peaceful election. Last month, the 6 presidential candidates added their signatures to the 14-point promise to guarantee a peaceful election campaign and voting on December 4. Furthermore, the guarantors urged candidates, party supporters and the public to refrain from spreading rumors and speculations. They also appealed to candidates who may have grievances or complaints from election day and the results management process to seek redress through the recognized dispute resolution procedures through the courts instead of resorting to violence. The courts have the mandate and the tools to investigate, review and resolve any election-related disputes based on the evidence provided in a transparent manner. The guarantors implore the media to continue to exercise their responsibility in ensuring professional and accurate reportage and avoiding speculations while commending the security services and encourage them to remain professional. They encourage citizens, including the youth, to continue to put country first and maintain the peace, stability and security of the Gambia. Babakar Sise, QTV News.
With the World Food Programme to collaborate on research and policy analysis. More in this report by Fatisi Sanyang.
Quality educational institutions are essential in every developing country. Collaborating with other institutions, especially international bodies, can help mitigate some of the challenges faced by educational institutions. Professor Per Gomez, the acting Vice-Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, reveals that the MOU will strengthen the bilateral ties between institutions.
This MOU will avail the two parties the opportunity to collaborate on areas such as assessment and data collection, research and policy analysis, innovation and capacity development, paid graduate scheme, internship, among others. Living in a world filled with a myriad of socio-economic challenges, there is an added need for a well-educated populace and deepen bilateral and multilateral relationships among countries and institutions.
Mr. Yasuhiro Sumara, the WFP country representative, says his institution is ready to collaborate with the highest institution in this country.
I'm very, very excited to work with you in these areas because any development needs to be based on the needs and feasibility, and innovation. Very much interested how to do things differently. And you have researchers, you have young people who can think out of the box. We are very much interested in this partnership. And lastly, we are strengthening our knowledge base in the food security and also disaster risk management.
Matida Koma at the UTG Directorate of Research says the UTG has opened all its doors to international bodies to collaborate in areas of mutual interest.
We are really happy to have such initiatives because as we open and widen our tentacles, we are willing to add to more knowledge through research creation, capacity building, and ensuring that we play a role in the national development plan of the country by shaping and informing policy makers which are all geared towards the national development goals and the betterment of the Gambian population.
The World Food Programme has been a partner in the Gambia's development and emergency feeding program since 1972 through project-oriented food assistance. The MOU is a welcome news, expected to boast our highest learning institution. Reporting for QTV News, I am Fatisi Sanyang.
President Barrow has given a victory speech and appealed for unity following his re-election in the just concluded presidential election. International observers have praised the conduct of the Gambia's recent presidential election, which saw President Barrow return to office. International observers have praised the conduct of the recently concluded presidential elections, which saw President Barrow return to office. Gambia participates, a youth-led civil society organization that focuses on enhancing transparency and accountability in the public sector, has told the media that the 2021 presidential elections witnessed a free, fair and transparent process. Following the Independent Electoral Commission's official declaration of the result of the December 4th presidential election, the Citizens Alliance (CA) and the National Unity Party have issued statements congratulating His Excellency President Adama Barrow on his successful re-election. The moral guarantors of the Code of Conduct for presidential candidates have congratulated all the stakeholders in the December 4th presidential election. That's all we have for you.